Hello. This is Brent Gove coming to you live from Northern California. Good to have you here today. It is Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. I'm going to do a quick 5-10 minute interview with a superstar in the real estate industry who joined eXp, and I want him to share with you his journey. Let's bring him on. Bob Mangold from Phoenix, Arizona. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Bob Mangold. It is truly a privilege to have you on today. How are you, Bob?
Yeah, having a blast, man. Having a blast.
Good. Your internet connection's interesting. It's kind of making you all black and white. I like it. It's like a filter.
There you go. It's for effect.
I like it. It looks good, man.
I look a lot younger this way. That's why. So
good. Smart. So, Bob, real quick, just a few minutes. How long have you been in real estate? How long have you been in the industry?
29 years.
29 years, and you are currently in Phoenix, Arizona, right?
Yep.
And how have you been in eXp?
About 3.5 years.
3.5 years, okay.
Yep.
And then what brokerage were you with prior to eXp?
Actually, I had my own company for 10 years. I actually had my own real estate company and mortgage company. I started my own real estate company as an exit realty franchise, and decided real quickly after about 18 months that they called them brokers for a reason, and sold it and said, no, I don't ever want to do that kind of thing again, where I would build something like that, until I seen the eXp model. That, listen, at one point I had 2 offices in Scottsdale, Arizona, so you can imagine what the rent was. My monthly overhead was $116,000 a month. And yeah, exactly. So now I did have, a few hundred agents. But at the end of the day, when you wake up on the first of the month and go, okay, well, we either bring in $116,000 or I'm the guy stroking the check. That's stress.
I remember when the market corrected, my overhead was $128,000 a month. And right. the front desk staff at RE/MAX, they would give me $90,000 worth of checks. They're like, oh my gosh, you're rich, here's 90 grand. And my overhead's 128.
Right.
I had just lost 38. I worked all month and lost $38,000.
Right.
But that's the part. Brokers are broker for a reason.
Yeah, I don't think agents understand how it all really works. And so the whole idea was, I was a very successful real estate agent. I actually started as a lender. I had my own mortgage company too, thank God, because that's where the cash flow came from. But at the end of the day, the whole idea was, well, let me leverage myself. I was in my probably late 40s at the time, and just said, I don't want to do this forever. Let me do the leverage. And so I said, hey, I'm going to go out. And I ended up hiring 188 agents in about 6 months, and thought that was the plan of leverage so that I could scale back and didn't have to work that hard. I went from working about 30 hours a week as an agent, making well into 7 figures every year, netting, to making about 20 grand a year, working 100 hours a week. And after about 18 months, I said, this is not the way to build leverage in the real estate world.
And then your reward is you're liable for all those transactions for the next 7 years moving forward.
All of that.
And you can get drug into lawsuits 5 years later for an agent that only worked for your firm for 6 months to a year, did something wacky. And then all of a sudden someone calls an attorney and you're like, oh, you're blowing the dust off the file trying to recalibrate yourself. It's crazy.
And if I wanted to expand, I would have to buy another franchise in another market and do the whole thing all over again.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I seen eXp, what it really, in the way that I explain it to people, is I can help you build a brokerage inside of a brokerage. We have no liability. You're not generating leads for anybody. You don't have any expense, right? So there's no rent. There's no, equipment that you're paying for. There's no staff that I'm paying for. And I've eliminated all my liability. I'm not involved in the day-to-day operation of my brokerage, if you will. I get paid a percentage of the revenue.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And that's how I explain it to an agent. If we could help you do that, is that something you would be open to?
I love it. So you talked about expanding. Yesterday I was talking to a brokerage in Texas. They got, I think, 8 offices, 200 agents. They really want to grow. They're doing quite well. They put it all together in about 3 or 4 years. And I said, would you like to go to Oklahoma? Would you like to go to Kansas, Louisiana, Arizona, New Mexico. They're like, yeah. I go, you got to hire brokers though in all those
Right.
states, open offices. If you partner with eXp, you get to keep your brand. It's just in small print at the bottom, brokered by eXp and their broker's number. Now their fanny's on the line, but
Right.
we have brokers in all 50 states, every major province of Canada, Australia, and the UK. Think about an expansion model. It's already done. You just grow into that with your brand. And is it worth, 16,000 a year for that? I think it's worth 16 grand a year for that.
Well, if I said, hey, Brent, I'll buy your brokerage from you. I'll do all those things, get rid of all your liability expenses, headache. You don't have to do any training, none of that. And I'll run it and pay you a percentage of the revenue. You don't even have to be involved. My cost of my consulting is $16,000 a year. Would you hire me?
Yes.
And that's the way that I look at it, is like, listen, if you can get yourself out of that, right? I'm no longer the guy who has to do all the training, where I was spending, 40, 50 hours a week doing all the training classes because I was the Uber producer teaching agents how to do it. I don't have to teach a class at all anymore. I don't have any day-to-day involvement in that.
Right.
And that's
Now,
pretty
the
powerful.
first year, you were busy running your real estate company, your mortgage company, all that. And so I understand we talked earlier, you sponsored like 6, 7, 8 agents your first year, right?
Right.
Well, what I loved about your story is the second year you kind of figured it out. And you sponsored 24.
Right.
So now that puts you up over 30. And then those agents told their colleagues and friends and their colleagues and friends. And today you have what, over 400? How many do you have today?
498 now and 37.
Woo, he's counting. The big 500 is right around the corner, man.
Exactly.
I remember getting there. Keep it up.
Exactly.
So now, what is your overhead? You mentioned your overhead before for your 2 offices with X amount of agents was 110,000 a month or whatever.
16,000.
What is your overhead now?
$100 a month.
$100 a month. Wow, that's called cloud.
And that's only because I choose to have a private team suite. So yeah, $100 a month.
Well, you still have the $50 tech fee and the 35. So
we still have, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's $185 a month.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, it's incredible. And then, are you liable for those 497 transactions? All the homes those 497 agents sell. Are you going to get hauled into a lawsuit because you're the broker of record?
Not a chance.
You're not on the contract.
Right.
They go to attorney and they go, who's on the contract? We'll sue the banker. We'll sue the agent. We'll sue their assistant. Boom, 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 and everyone gets dragged into a lawsuit. You're not. Anybody joining eXp is not on the contract. So we mitigate liability as brokers. Right. And if you're not a broker, you just have no idea what bullet you're dodging. Right.
Right. So, until you've been on the other side, you don't get that or feel that. Because there were people that, like we would hire, within a month you'd go, oh my God, this guy's out there doing business in my name. I know I'm going to be in trouble. And you lay awake and worry about that. Where now I don't have any of that headache. We have a broker in every state. Like you don't have to think about
amazing. That. You just grow.
Right.
Grow. So 2 questions and we'll wrap this up. We'll keep it short for everyone. By the way, not one person has dropped off. This is super cool. I love it. Everybody's still watching. So 2 questions. Number 1, I know we're in the middle of the pandemic and I know it has had an impact. How much do you hope to earn this year in revenue share? What do you hope to earn this year?
Probably over, the mid 6 figures.
Okay. All right. Good. And then if one guy, Bob Mangold, became 497 or 498.
Right.
Where do you see that 498 going this year? 12 months from now, if we could, all of a sudden, bam, it's April 2021. It's 1 year from now.
Right.
What agent count would you hope to have?
Well, the cool thing is I'm pretty good with an Excel spreadsheet. I got one of the spreadsheets from you and James. And so if you took that out a year, and I was very conservative in growth and all those other things, I believe it was like 1,200 agents.
Nice.
But I also can tell you right now, we're talking to a couple different brokerages that have in excess of 500 agents.
So that
at one time, that would completely just blow that number up.
So without those, you're still around 1,200, which is about $850,000 a year revenue share outside of your commissions and mortgage and all the other
Right.
stuff you got going
Yep.
on. That will help you retire with some dignity, plus all the stock. I'd imagine you got a little bit of stock.
Yeah, we were on in the early days.
Yep.
So, yep.
That's awesome. So,
And that was the thing, a couple weeks ago when the stock hit a real lull, and you went back and looked at that, right? For years, there was a couple of companies that would love to ridicule us about, oh, that little penny stock, and it's traded on some little exchange. Well, I know one thing. A couple of weeks ago when the stock had dipped down, when like the Dow was down like 1,500 points in a day, it was still almost six figures. And I'm just going, God, I wonder how many agents at those other companies in this kind of fear and environment would love to be able to put their hands on that kind of money if they needed to.
Yeah.
The answer is they
There
can't.
you go. Yeah, I'm so grateful. Have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of stock today, and that just didn't happen for 20 years. Quick question: a friend of mine owns a Keller Williams somewhere in America. I won't say well to give some just to protect them, but it was last year, the year before. I can't remember the exact year. They started the year with 231 agents.
Right.
And not as big as you and they have their overheads like $80,000 a month, not your $185 a month. And so they have 231 agents. They got their act together. They have great culture. It's a great office. I know the OP. I know the team leader. Everybody loves everybody. There's a lot of kumbaya, a lot of good stuff there. So where do you think an office like that could grow in a year? If you were to forecast, I'm gonna tell you what actually happened. But honestly, a typical franchise office, a global banker, or even say a rocking KW that's hitting on all 8 cylinders, where do you think 231 could go? What's your best estimate?
In the first year?
No, the 231 agents, where would that grow?
Probably a 5X on that, roughly. So
no, I'm talking about a franchise, my man, not eXp.
Just
I'm
if I kept
about like a Coldwell Banker or a Remax or Sotheby's.
Shoot.
You have this office. She had an
office.
Got
it.
31 agents.
If they were to kick butt,
number to hit in a year.
If they were to kick butt, it would be 300.
Exactly.
That would be kicking butt.
Kicking butt. So he's at 497, talking about 1,200. Well, but she's only at 231. Here's what happened. A year later, they hired, I think it was 33 agents in 1 year.
Right.
So, you weren't that off, right?
Right.
231 plus 33 is 264, right?
Right.
So you said they kicked butt 300. Well, they didn't kick butt, but they grew, right?
Right.
Except 32 people left. Right. So when you add 33 in a year and 32 leave, they went from 230, that's what it was, 230 to 231 a year later. They grew by one agent a year.
Right.
So to go from 497 to 1,200 net in a year would not have overhead, that is huge. And that is what his eXp is about. It's about growth. It's about locking arms. I'm helping Bob Mangold. Bob Mangold's helping me. Tucker Overstreet, a major radical superstar who's watching this right now, commercial agent from Love Tucker, from Dallas area. He's on like all the time. I see him on here, Tucker. I watch. He's got guests on. We have a ton of people on. So Bob, thank you for being on today. Thank you for helping me show from the brokerage what a blessing this company is. If you want it to be awesome, it's awesome. Feel free to reach out, Bob, ask him questions, ask me questions, but please do get back to the person who invited you onto this webinar. Bob and I are just simply here from help. We're not here to sponsor you. You definitely are connected with the person who got you on here. I want to be 1,000% clear on that. Right, Bob?
Yep, that's how we work.
That's how we roll. All right, everyone. Thank you, Bob, for being on today. We'll see everyone here tomorrow, 12:30 to 1:30. Same Zoom link. Bring a friend, bring a guest, grow your business. Bye for now, everybody. Thank you,
guys.
Bob.
Reach out if you have questions.
All right.